And welcome back to the second part of this tutorial. I'm going to start by adding a list box here and a scroll bar. So I'm going to close that. Let's come right in here. Right underneath here, we add our list box. Let's copy that. Let's scroll right down here. Okay. So I'm just going to enter a list box here. And a scroll bar. Alright. Okay, let's start by defining as follows. So I'm going to call it scroll bar equals scroll bar. That is the name of the widget. So I'm just calling it scroll bar. If you notice, that's with lowercase. And the right name of the widget is scroll bar with uppercase. So that very widget is going to be resident right inside my data frame, but the data frame is called write data frame. There. Let me show it to you here if you guys can still recall my frameworks. So it's going to be right in here. So let's move it down a little bit. Now the next thing is, for that particular one, let's say the scroll bar itself, we want it alone inside this very framework. So that's going to be row equals 0, comma, and column equals 0 as well. Let me make it 0, and let's say strictly equals ns. Okay, now the name of my list box, I'm going to call that book list. Book list, that's the name of my list box, and this very book list is a list box. That is the name of the widget, and this very list box is right inside this data as well. Okay, now I'm going to make this 1 because I'm going to make this 0. Okay, then right, then the width, let's make that 45. Height, I will make that 12 for now. And fonts, it's going to be 12 area as well. Copy paste that in there. Okay, so what else do I want? Let me say I want it to scroll right, to scroll vertical, I mean. Command scroll vertical, scroll on the y-axis vertical, command equals y. That equals scroll bar dot set. Alright, paste dot set, and we just need to close that now. There. Now what else do I need to do? I'm going to say book list dot grade equals this. Copy all of that, paste that here. But in this case, the column will be 0. Column 0, or this should be 0 as well. Let's know 0 there. Alright, and let's get it padded. Pad the x-axis to, let's make that 8. Alright, and we want to configure this very scroll bar to be right. Scroll bar dot configure as command equals, we'll just copy that, command equals book list. Command equals book list dot y view. I think that should do it for the scroll bar. Okay, let's save it and then run it. See. Oh, that's fine. Look at it. You see that, guys? That is the scroll bar, and that is my list box. Now everything is looking how I want it to be. Now the next thing is, let's add our buttons. Then we can start work on the back end of this database. Let's close that. We need to add buttons now. Let's just call this buttons. Alright, take it down a little bit. Now the first button I would like to add, let me say self dot btn add data. That's the name of the very first button, and the widget is called button. Okay, as for the button itself, it's going to be right inside the frame that I call button frame, and that is it on the frame area. Look at it, it's called button frame. So bring that right down. Now what else do we want on this button? The text content on the button, I'm just going to call that, let's say, add data. Right. And the font, I'll make that about 14. Paste that there. It's copied. Change that to 4. And what else do I have? The height. When you say the height I'm going to make that maybe 2, and the width will be about 13 equals 13. That's the width. And BkID equals 4. There's no command there yet, so let's position it. There we go. And grid equals row 0, and the column equals 0. Right, that's my very first button. Right, let's correct this spelling here first. That's the very first button, so let's try it out and see how it's gonna look like. There we go, guys. Now close that. What I'm going to do now is copy paste and just change the rest around. Take it down, and I think I'm gonna need 2 more. There we go. Just need to change the content in there. This will be known as display data. Then this, let's call this clear data, and this one delete data, update data, search data, and finally exit. Now if this is 0, this will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, let's save and run. There we go. So all my buttons are in place, but it's advisable you guys actually give it a proper naming, just like I'm going to do now. I'm going to give it a proper name. So let me just copy this and name it accordingly. Alright, so change that. So update data. Oh, this should be updates, not add data. Add data. Yeah. Okay, this one will be btn update data, display data. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the same thing for all, and I'll get back to you guys. All I'm just doing is just giving the buttons proper names to be more professional, or to make it look more professional, I mean. So I'll do that and get back to you guys shortly. Alright, here are the names. Everything is now in place, and just to align it properly, I've also increased one or two of the width as well. So let's run it so that you guys see what I'm talking about. There we go. This is how it all looks for now. Okay, but none of these buttons do anything. Now let's make them do something. So close that. I will now start with the coding for the main thing before we start work on the back end of it. The back end is going to be the database itself. So let's copy this. I like to add border in between them, and this is going to be my function declaration. Right, something like that. Okay then. Let's get rid of that. The first function that I would like to declare will be my exits. So I'm going to say define iExit equals that. And for your information, you see the exit itself, you can always use a shortcut, which I don't really like. You can just use root.exit. I don't want that. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Or let's finish writing this. So that's the name of my exit. I will now call the exit and ask my message box, and that is the reason why I imported this very one here. So I'm going to call the Tit message box itself to prompt the user to confirm if they really want to exit. I've already copied that, paste. So Tit message box dot ask. Okay, ask the end user. That is it. No, it's going to be yes, ask yes, no. Yeah. So, and the name of my project, which is right here. Just going to copy all of that instead of retyping. Paste that here. There. Library database management system. Put a comma here, and my question is going to be confirm if you want to exit. So that's the question for my end user. Close that. I will now use an if statement to validate the selection made. I exit. If it's greater than 0, then root dot exit, root dot destroy, destroy. Add your parentheses there and just enter return, and that is it. That's all. That's it, coding for that. But you can always just copy that root alone, root dot destroy, and exit with that. The choice is yours, but I don't want that. So right here I'm going to enter comma command equals root dot destroy. I don't want that. Let me try that out. I read something that you can do that, but I see just don't like that. Let's see what happened here. Destroyed. Yeah, I think it's got to do with the parentheses. Let's get rid of that. There we go. Now let's try it again. Run. So if I click on that, look at what I'm talking about. It's not even asking the end user to confirm if they want to exit or not. I think that's a very poor way to write a program. So I'm going to copy this and just change that to the function I created there. Get rid of all of that. Enter that in there. So the command equals I exit. That's the function above. So let's run it and see. Click. You see that, guys? Confirm if you want to exit or not. No. So I'm still within the system. Mistake could have been made. No. Okay, then let's exit. Confirm if you want to exit. Yes. You see that? That's how it's meant to work. I think I prefer it that way. Now the next function I'm going to put together. So the next one is going to be clear data. So let's come right here. Dim. Clear data. There. And the very first one is going to be this very one here. Let's see. This one. Save.txt. Okay. There. So dot delete anything inside it, comma, and there we go. Okay, that's to delete whatever content I have in there. So I'm going to repeat exactly the same thing for the rest. So I can just copy and paste and change it around. And this one is called BK. The next one is BK something. Let's check out the name. Yeah, that's the next one. Let's check those ones out. And what else do I have? Reference. Okay, all is ready now. So let's come right down here. I need the button clear, this very one here. Okay, I'm going to have to say command equals there. I have to just break it apart so that you guys can see what I'm about to do. Okay, let's run that and see what's going to happen. There we go, just enter whatever value in there. And here, so let's try that out. There we go. The clear is working. Close that. So 2 of the buttons are taken care of. So have a good look at those lines of codes. Now let's take care of another part of it. Maybe we should take care of add data. In the case of add data, we're going to have to start working on the back end and the front end as well. Okay, if I create my add database function, it's not going to do anything. Now let's say add data, and there. And the data that I want to add, I'm going to say if len. Okay, now this brings us to the use of every single variables that I have in here. You see all these variables? That is my reason for making them very, very short, you know, because I need each of them, else it's going to be very long. So the very first one is len, whatever I have in here, dot get. And if there's nothing, equals 0. Enter parentheses. Now the other thing is I need to create a database, which I don't have yet. However, the name of my database, let's make that up. library, let's say books database. That's going to be the name of my database. Okay, so I'm going to ask it to add something. Okay, what is it going to add? Maybe we can say add data record. So add data record is going to be the name of the function on my database there. So I'm going to say m.get my member type dot get, comma, the next one is going to be reference dot get. I'm now calling the names of every single variables that I have up here. That's what I'm calling now. The next one is going to be title, followed by first name, surname, and so on. And then comma, title dot get, then comma, first name dot get, comma, surname dot get, and so on. So I'm going to have to speed this up because it's going to take some time putting them together, and I'll get back to you guys shortly. Okay guys, this is how it all looks now. I even had to break this one apart so that you guys can see it all. There we go. Alright, if we run it now, it's going to give us an error. In the first place, I haven't called this. Okay, and I don't even have my database in place. This is my database. But before I do any other thing, I'm going to import this very database that is yet to be created. Let me come up here. Now I'm going to say import the following. That is my database that I intend to create now. Okay, I might as well open up a new page. File, new, and I'm going to save this as my database. Save as there. So let's save that. That is the database I have called, but there's nothing in there. But the first thing I'm going to do is to import SQLite 3 there. Now I'm going to now define, and let's say function. I will call that connect data or connect. Okay, let's say connect data. Function connect data. And what do you want me to connect? I would like you to connect as follows. So let's go for connect SQLite 3 dot connect the following. I'm going to make up my own, so library book dot data there. Okay, now the current is going to be connect dot cursor. Just to create the cursor for me, and I would like it to also execute. So let's say current dot cursor execute as follows. So we will now use SQL here. Let's say create, no, that should be in uppercase. Create table, if not exist. So if the table does not exist, create the table, and the table name is library books So that's the name of my table. So the next one is, I'm going to say ID. Let's open this so that you guys can see. ID is going to be an integer. So that would represent my primary key in a way. Primary key, comma. Now I need to enter the name of all my variable. So that's going to be the name of my table. The first one is going to be text, comma. The next one is called reference. Text format as well. Then followed by that is the title. That's going to be in a text format as well. Then I have first name, text. Okay, I'm gonna put a space there. Then I have surname, surname and text as well. So I'm going to speed this up and get back to you guys shortly. Alright, so I had to break it up because of the space, but the other thing I can do is I can also reduce the size of this font so that you guys can see it, but it might be too small for some of you guys out there. You see that? So that's why I'm going to leave it as 14. I'll just leave it as 14. At the end of the day, you'll be able to see it much better. So let's say connection dot commit, and we will now want to also dot close there. So that is to create my database. Now let's close this as well. Copy that and come right down here, paste that. Now the next thing is, let's see if we can create the add function. And if you guys can still recollect the name of the add function, let's find that out. It's here somewhere. Let's move that. Add, there we go, that is it. Data, add data record. Okay, so we're going to start by calling that very function. So press enter, and that is define add data record rec. That is my function there, and inside this very function I need the tables, all of this information. Okay, I need them right in here. Alright, so I'm going to have to copy and delete some stuff. Okay, so let's start by copying as we go. Okay, let's copy all of this. Copy that, paste that here, and delete this, delete the text. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the same thing for others. Copy and delete the text as well. So I'm going to speed that up and get back to you guys. Okay guys, like I've said, I had to speed that up. So the next thing I ask the SQL to do is to connect to my database. Okay, and in here I want this cursor to then execute the following to insert as follows inside the database. Here you will notice the value I said is null value, so which means that would be my primary key. Okay, to just give me an incremental number, and in here each of these, what value am I meant to enter, the just question mark, and here are the values. Okay, if I enter backspace and just there, those are the values that we meant to enter. The next thing is for you to commence the instruction. Commence comment as required. Then I want it to close it as well. Dot close. There. That is for my database. So let's go to file and save. Now the database itself is now created to add values, but what is left is, let's see if it's going to work. But one thing first, let me show you my file here. Double click on the file. You see there's no database in here. So if I run this program, hopefully that should show up. So let's come in here and just click on run. Oh, first thing, let's make sure I've called my database, add database on the add button. This is the add button. It's not called yet. Let's see what is the name of that function. Add data. Now let's come right down here. Okay, right here, comma, command equals that. Okay, save and run. All right, there we go. Now let's just enter whatever in here first and see how that's gonna work. Okay, I'm gonna click on add. There we go. Look at that, guys. It works. I am very excited. It works. That is good. Okay, so it's working the way I want, and there. Okay, now to verify if that data, look at it, is created. That's my database created there. Okay, inside my file. All right, so you guys now understand that. So with that, I'm going to call it the end of the second part of this tutorial, and I'll see you guys shortly.